Hey everybody, so it's Steve, and I've got a special guest with me today from the Splintermate project. As you know, I did a video about this in the past, and I was hired by them a little bit to look at the project, check it out, and my old bot stopped working very well, so they came in at the right time to help me out. And so this is Jurnon. He is part of their team. Do you want to just talk a little bit about where, you guys and your project and stuff like that?
Yes, hi. Currently Splintermate is chugging along, so to speak. I think I have mentioned previously, that in general we had our systems in place, the key systems, a few months ago, and now it's iteration and scaling stuff. So currently we have onboarded quite a few people, even more than we expected during the last month. Of course, even though we thought that we have solved all the scaling stuff, we see that some still, problems arise. So this is the major path we are now dealing with. That's one, and the second part is the team builder. That's like never-ending process due to changing conditions, changing structures of the game, and so on. So I guess these are the two main things currently we are dealing with.
Yeah, and when it comes to your team builder, how are you guys approaching that? Are you kind of trying to build your own? I don't know how much detail you can give us on that. What leagues do you think it's ready for? Which leagues do you think it maybe isn't great at quite yet and you need a little more time with, stuff like that?
Yeah, so in general, our team builder is based on a lot of information it has. So a problem arises when you go after leagues that information is way scarcer in Diamond, in Champion, because there are just not that many matches being played. So bot-wise, it is several thousand games or a few 100,000 games is not a lot. So that's one. So coming from that, bot is not performing that well in Diamond or Champion. In Gold, it's mediocre. In Silver and Bronze, it's currently running totally fine. I think my Bronze team was averaging 60% win rate like 2 days ago, 24-hour win rate. So it was like insane in general. But what let's say the update which has not yet released, but is in the pipeline and actually has been coded already, just needs to do extra testing, should tackle most of the problems regarding the higher league play. And our expectation is that that will change the win rate for Gold and even Diamond leagues to be competitive, meaning it should be above 50% win rate. That's what we're aiming for in general. So I really have high hopes for it, and that brings actually a lot of new logic to the playing algorithm. I don't want to get into a lot of detail about that, but our hopes and our testing, internal testing, showed that this is a good way to go, and this allows us to, let's say, make better picks when forming teams with higher level cards. So that's one, and the second part is I guess related to some extra iterations of bot logic through a perspective of just taking the information we have and using it for the higher leagues, because there are a lot of possibilities of rule sets, cards you can play, and so not a lot, almost infinite. So when you have few million data points, it's not that hard to have matches played for all of the rule sets and so on. But when we are talking about higher leagues and lack of data, it's a problem. So you have to find some ways to cut corners and just to work with less data and to still be able to make decisions. So I guess these are two key problems we are solving with team builder currently. So higher card use and in general better performance in higher leagues. That's one, and also how to lower the amount of data the bot needs to actually perform well.
Yeah, and because I can tell you, I use both your service and the Archmage service currently. The Archmage I use on my account that has max level cards, and then I run 2 silvers with level 3s and 1 bronze with like pretty much a good set of level 2s. The bronze does win over 60% consistently, so that's really, really strong. The silvers with only level 3s are still running 55-56% win rates. Been very impressed by that. And to tell you the truth, the Archmage is not winning at some greater win rate up there with the higher level cards. I've noticed I'm only winning maybe 52-53% on that main account. So I can tell that I think you've given me some hints why it's so hard for even their system to win in those upper leagues, because there isn't as many players. And that's a general problem with Splinterlands. We need more people to update those cards and get to the higher leagues.
To invest those 10,000 euros.
Yeah, or we need quite a few more players. And a lot of people give bots and bot services a bad name. And I don't do that, because I kind of understand that Splinterlands needs to have a very broad player base, and your system does something really impressive in its ability to rent cards for people. So do you want to talk to that a little bit, how a player could come in and not necessarily have to spend as much money right away to get going and earning in the game?
I guess card renting solution is one of the key cornerstones of ours, because it's fully implemented with the playing solution and the general logic, and also with the bot's main target. And that main target is to maximize your return on investment from playing the game through bot or through yourself. Renting the cards, well, one aspect is that you can do it through us, meaning that you can set up what kind of cards you want to have rented, what price you want to pay, and we'll do the renting for you. So you only need to set up once if you are using the same cards. So that's one. And the second part is we also give you suggestions regarding which cards to rent for, let's say, totally entry-level person, so that he or she can have that decent win rate with not too much expenses. Because bot itself will not perform that good if you just rent the most expensive and craziest cards, because those cards are very rare in data sets, so they appear quite rarely, meaning that it's not good practice for the, if you want to maximize what you're gaining from a botting service. It's not the go-to scenario to just go in and rent all these legendary untamed summoners or promo summoners and so on. So there are some specific cards which bring you over 50% mark. Those cards are stated in our guides. So any player, just by asking or by checking, can hop in and in 5 minutes configure its bot to be competent in bronze and silver. It's not really that hard. So yeah. I guess.
And at your price point, that's something I've never even heard of, because I've tried a couple other services and nobody comes close to this idea that we're going to tell you what are the best cards to rent. And then when you go and look at them, you're like, wait a minute, it's not just all the legendary cards. It's the high win rate, rare cards that you need. And and only a couple of the untamed cards that are very, very important. And I thought that that's something that really sets you guys apart in the whole kind of botting ecosystem, is really that rental service, that rental guide, because a lot of other ones you're kind of left on your own to put together your own decks, and they don't really tell you that much information on what are the best cards to get. It's almost like they hide that back a little bit.
I guess it's one of the approaches we're taking, is that the service should be simple to use effectively, even for a person who knows Splinterlands minimal, from a perspective of game knowledge or from a perspective of botting. So it means that it's a simple web page. You can understand it in like 1 or 2 minutes how to use all of the menus in there. And by providing some, let's say, basic knowledge about Splinterlands decks and so on, we pretty much solve both of these problems. So any new player coming and saying, okay, I want to try this, I don't have time or whatever it is, and I want to have my one account running, he can do that, and there is no need for those installs to your computer. There is no need for those black screens of our bots and command prompts. So this is the take we had from the first get-go regarding this. That this should be as simple as possible to enter. And we see a lot of players just joining with one of their accounts, just, I'm going on holidays for 2 weeks. Can you guys provide your service? I don't want to lose, some of the value I can gain.
Yeah, and I think that's something a lot of people don't quite understand. They get this idea that any botting project or any bot farm is just thousands of accounts owned by one person who are just stealing money from the ecosystem and hurting the ecosystem overall. And I don't feel like that's the truth. And I know, like, I've never heard you guys try to teach us any ways to exploit the game, right? You don't support the win trading ideas or any of those other things.
This is completely black field for us. We are, at least from my practice and from my colleagues, exploiting the game is always out of the question. It's just, I don't, as far as I understand that we are not hurting anyone and the game, then we are good to go. But if we are starting to, touch upon points which can hurt the game or other players, then I think that we are in a black spot. But when we are just playing the game and just making same decisions like a player is doing, I don't think that we are hurting anything.
Yeah, and I agree with you there because, like I've said, we need more people to play. We need those circulations of cards to get used. Having botting services just keeps people in the game because I know, like for me, I just started a huge work project. I'm super busy during the week, and so I would have took a large break from the game. I might have even thought about selling my assets, but when I can instead use them for a botting service like yours, and once I got comfortable with it, instead I invested more money into the game. I bought more cards, set up more accounts to play and run because I have a lot of land and I'm going to need a ton of cards to work my land. So I'm not selling anything that's coming in. I'm just farming away, getting as many of those rewards cards as I can. And so it's just an ecosystem. I think that a lot of smaller players don't quite understand the value that's there, and they don't understand that you can be a value for them too. Like you said, because your service, you want to go over your pricing again? Because I know it's really competitive.
Mm-hmm. So our pricing is very simple. Standard pricing is $1 per month per account. So for each bot you want to run, it's $1 per month. If you have more accounts, way more, there are discounts in place if you want to add those. But then we are talking about at least a few, not few, but several accounts and more, let's say. So in general, that's a discussion which we have eye to eye with anyone using our bot service. But if it's just one or two alt accounts or main account, whatever it is, it's $1 per month. So.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, it's very easy for you to make that back. I've seen my accounts make that back in a week, and you get the whole month for it. You get basically 2 seasons for that price, and it does open up another discussion to have that this is a project that also can be more for larger investors, right? Who look at the Splinterlands ecosystem, look at the whole play to earn stuff that it has going on, SPS earnings coming, and if you really wanted to open 100 accounts and run them with your service, you would support something like that, or even more.
Yes, we go from one newbie player, so to speak, to be able to manage several hundred accounts, whatever it is. Actually, if you want to do so, it's quite simple. We have, let's say, special dashboards and special menus to mass edit all the accounts, to link all of the rental settings to each of the account, and so on and so on. meaning that it is possible to manage a lot of accounts without putting a lot of work, daily work from it. Initial setup might take a little bit, but in general, if you know what you're doing, it doesn't matter if you're setting up 1 or 5 or 20 accounts. If you are playing on the same league, you intend them to play on the same league, it will take pretty much the same time. So anyone is welcome, so to speak. And we hope that we can facilitate everyone's needs to the best of our ability.
Yeah, and I really like that about your service for sure, that you have both the opportunities for people to dip their toes in, small accounts to use it, or for someone like me for the first time, I'm like, wow, maybe I can run more accounts. I can invest more money into the game because the setup is so easy. You can do a lot of settings one time, copy them over to multiple different accounts, and it's been a lot of fun using your system. One of the things I kind of forgot to talk to you about is kind of how did you get into Splinterlands, and why did you choose to do this service here? Was there anything that brought you to this system that you want to talk about or anything?
So Splinterlands, it's actually, I think, 1 year birthday around now. It was last year, second part of summer. And for me, I came to Splinterlands just looking for a crypto game. Any crypto game, just wanting to see, what is play turn about. And I quite liked it from the get-go. Played it myself, be playing it now myself. And during that time, at the start, I noticed that, okay, this is, the rewards the crazy back then. And I was thinking, okay, maybe there is some possibilities, to scale from 1 account to 200 accounts, and how could I do it? And I was just doing it myself, very basic solution from a perspective of let's say, playing specific teams, and that's all. And later on, I understood that, okay, it's not in my capabilities to make any better solution regarding the automation wise. And then I just on random occasion met Deej, who is the sole programmer of this project of Splintermate, and he was just dealing with botting aspect of it from a, I would say, professional point of view regarding the programming quality, but as a side project of his, just as a challenge, and we started talking, started discussing, and I was his first client, and beta tester and alpha tester and whatever you want. So we've been at this for like 6 months more. It was last year, end of last year, so it's 9-10 months from now. And we started just he was coding something, I was running my bots on there, and we just iterating and seeing that the project expands and grows and adds functionalities. And one day I came to him and said, hey, you want to try to sell this to other people? It might be useful for them, might solve a problem, I said, yeah, sure, why not? And that's what happened. This is the idea, I guess.
That's a very interesting story, especially because you decided to actually bring it to the players. Because what a lot of players don't know, and I just know this because I've been around the game for a long time, is there are some people out there who have some bots and they don't share those bots. They don't allow other people to use them. And whenever you see those bots that are accused of win trading in those farms and stuff, they're usually using a bot that is not a service. It's something hidden in the background that has all those bad things in it, and you're competing against those anyways. If you're a player, they're out there, they're not going to get banned. There may be more changes to the game that make it less rewarding for the bots, but the ability for you to use a service that can allow your account to play consistently and to stay to a schedule, to not play tired. I know that's what they do for me, because when I try to force myself to play every day, sometimes I play at times I shouldn't, and then I look back and I go, wow, I lost like 12 matches in a row.
but you're actually touching upon a very good point, because I have or had the same issue, is that I thought that play to earn is something that will change my approach to gaming, because before I was an avid gamer, played a lot of games and so on, and always had fun. But later in life, I was just taking game, playing for a few hours, when asking myself a question, what's the point, and the answer is no point, and you just leave a game as is, and go to your daily routine or whatever it is. And never, getting involved with the games anymore. And when Play to Earn came to be, I was like, oh, this might be a perfect, match for me, because that access why I'm playing, because I'm earning something. This is meaningful, and the unexpected outcome of this is that yes, you are earning something, but then you are very obligated to play every day to maximize, what you are, that assets you have to bring the returns you want to bring. So, and I started to see that, yeah, I'm playing when I do not want to play at all, because, I have to play, SCR is at 100%, and so on. So, and this, the botting solution, even for my main account, solved this to some extent. I just, okay, this week I'm not feeling like playing. Leave it to play for the bot, no problem.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about the botting services for a lot of people. I'm trying to run my YouTube channel. I have a family. I don't always have time to play the game. So my account used to be one that would stay up near 90, 95 ECR. I'd come to it at 100 all the time. And then I was like, okay, now I can see it's like, oh, yay, I just got to constantly keep them at 70-ish. And I know that they're earning at like their best potential. And like if I could play at my best, maybe I could pull a 65 win percentage. But there's no way I can always play at my best. I'm always going to be distracted by the kids, distracted by this, distracted by, just the other things in life. So that kind of stuff happens. So it is nice that your service came around, because like I said, I was using a different one, and then some stuff got changed. They didn't update it, and it started to lose like an insane amount. And so I had to turn it off, because I'm like, this is just silly. They're just losing every single match. And then I got reached out to by somebody else on your team to take a look at your project, and I'm like, wow, this is like, it was just so much more, because you have all the dashboards and all the tools, all the abilities for people to do the renting stuff, the abilities to, actually track all of your accounts in one place and see all of their earnings and all of their rewards. So I just want to say, I think you guys have done a really good job. You've bought a really good project, for the players to use. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about any upcoming updates? Any other messages you want to put out to the players about your, the Splinterlane service, or anything else?
I guess the key message is that we are active, we are here, and we are interested in anyone who wants to run a bot. Doesn't matter if you're a complete newbie to a field, or you have several hundred of accounts. We most likely can reach some kind of agreement with you and be able to help you to facilitate your needs. So that's one. About the updates I have mentioned, I guess my key aspect of the updates, or key point, is that I really have a lot of faith in the solution update of the team building logic for a higher level cards. And I really expect it to work, because I think we have put a lot of effort into thinking it through, and it seems that it's on paper and on testing, it's a very good solution. So I really hope that we will be able to bring the goodness to a live server. But in general, we're just chugging along and fixing some stuff, and mostly dealing with some scaling issues. So that's our daily routine, so to speak, currently.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. If you guys get that running, I'll move my main account over to at least test it and stuff. Obviously, your service is a lot cheaper than those Archmage tokens are on that market. So if you guys can put out a competitive product, I think you can definitely appeal to quite a few people that are looking to get into it, because I don't think your bot is any worse in the lower leagues. There's no way. It wins at a very high percentage.
Yeah, because it has a lot of data, that means that it's capable of playing pretty much perfect hands every game. Also, on a side note, you're always talking about the win rate in general, that this is the aspect which you care about. And this is completely correct. But when you're looking from the bot's perspective, the only thing you want to maximize is not the win rate. It's the FP gain per battle, in general, air shares. And we have changed this logic to go from just the win rate, this is in previous iteration, to maximizing your air shares gain per battle, meaning that the bot takes into account win rate but calculates your expected air shares. According to what cards you have, what kind of starter cards you will use or not use, and so on. So it's really hard to explain to people. This logic is that no, I do not want to play starter cards, or something like that. And we have implemented these options just for the people. But in general, it doesn't matter what the bot plays. Is it a starter card or not a starter card? As far as he chooses the team which expectedly brings you the most air shares after playing the game, because you want to maximize your returns. So and it's really hard to explain that to people, but it doesn't matter, that it played 2 starter cards. It was the best deck, it is. We have these settings in place which cater to the people needs, even though at least from our perspective we say they are completely necessary, but people want it, so we just added them. So yeah.
All right. I never thought about it that way, but that makes sense to me. And it's good to know that yours can do that. I know I set up my accounts so they don't have any more starter cards, but that's just because I spent the money to do that. But because that way I knew I could just let you put the best cards out there every single time. But is there anything else you wanted to end with before we go?
No. I guess thank you for a quick interview. And I hope that Splinterlands, will not survive is a bad word, but go through this bear market of crypto and come back even stronger when everything starts to rise again,
Yeah, so. I do believe we're going to have a pretty good run, at least in the near future. There's a lot of reasons why some people would probably look into coming into the game, I believe, coming up. So thanks again for, doing this with me. And he was very patient. So just know that, everyone.
No, it's no problem.
All right. Thanks.